I think one of the things I loved about your story was like how you came to that wisdom that helped you to close all that down to be able to do what you're doing, which we'll share soon. I was just thinking that we don't just have one block. We have at the very deep root, quite often females, that real safety vulnerability thing. And you were actually one of the cases I've seen that was the strongest to resist that thing. That it's really brave, it's gutsy, because your cause must have been more important in the end.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And around vulnerability, yeah, I was like, I do not want to be vulnerable. Like that to me was the scariest thing on earth, to be vulnerable. Yeah, and to be truly vulnerable. Not just, I'm not talking a little bit vulnerable, Maz. I'm talking properly vulnerable. The thought of that, I would have a physical reaction to.
Yeah.
And I don't have that anymore.
Pages. I thought it would be interesting to actually show Naomi a little snippet of actually before she really confronted this issue. I'm going to share the screen.
It can just be a moment where during the week where I'm low on energy.
In that moment, what are you thinking?
I'm not cut out for this. I can't sustain the energy.
In that moment, what are you believing?
I just don't know if I have it in me.
In that moment, how are you seeing yourself?
I guess a little bit weak and lacking what it takes.
In that moment, are you seeing other people?
A lot more consistent than I am.
In that moment, how are you seeing the world?
Uphill battle.
In that moment, how are you seeing life?
Difficult.
In that moment, how are you seeing the future?
It just feels and seems hard.
And how are you reacting?
Pushing through.
How is this affecting your life?
It makes me very inconsistent in how I show up on social media.
What decisions, actions have you been avoiding because of this?
I think maybe just what am I avoiding?
Which decisions and actions have you been avoiding because of this?
Really just going for it in my business, like going for it on the social media, posting.
So what's that to see that back? How long ago was that?
Oh, probably about a month.
Yeah. What's it like to see that back? Before I even ask you what's changed, what's it like to see that?
Seeing that is a really good reminder of just how much things have changed for me internally. And yeah, without going into what I've done, because the biggest concerns for me were the energy. Can I sustain this? Am I even cut out for this? Like I was on the verge of, if I can't make this work, I think I'm just going to give up, because I don't know if I am cut out for it. That's how it felt before.
I know the wisdom that you did get. Do you remember it? Do you remember? Because no one taught you. No one walked in just after that and taught you anything. Where did it come from? Is the first question.
With the method within me, the wisdom was already within me. It was just a matter of accessing it.
I just want women to know that. I want them to know everything is in you. And we've heard it. We've heard it everywhere. You hear it like all the gurus say it. All the greats throughout all of history say you've got it in there. But I think what's interesting is that it was you that had to do it. Do you remember any of the wisdom?
I do. Staying small was damaging to me. Staying small was the thing that was making me feel not so good. And it was only through moving and growing that I would be able to really radiate and feel amazing and become healthy and share the things that I needed to share. So yeah, the wisdom was that the staying small is actually harming. And it was my natural design to go and play big.
People don't know that. People will go all their life and not know that. Just what you just said. I don't know how many books women have had to read, and they know a lot of that. What's the difference from, surely you knew some of what you learned there or had read it. What's the difference in the knowingness of when you realize that from accessing that deep place for yourself, that no one would have known what to say, but you would have known, read that stuff, some of it at least.
You know what, Maz? I don't actually think I had any conscious awareness that was possible. I honestly don't think that anywhere in my brain I would have thought that playing big was healthier for me. So that's the beauty of the wisdom.
That wisdom was really big. Like, you needed that, and there was no other way. So this is what I'm busting to share, talk about here, to just bring hope to women that it is possible for any woman, even the woman who believes she's least likely to succeed. Because that was me. Like, absolutely, I would be the last person on the planet you would pick back when. So even though it sounds impossible, what I really want to bring to women is that it's actually not, when you understand just this, what we're about to explain.
I give you another example of how this played out, because I just thought of it. When money gets tight in our household, I think, oh, we've got to cut back. How can I save? How can we cut back? And since this, I was like, why don't we just make more money? Why would I focus all that energy on cutting back when I could focus that energy on just going out and doing more work and having more success?
So can you share, like, what changed then from that moment? Like,
I don't know. It's just this perspective shift. It was just, that was my old pattern. And then I noticed it and I'm like, that's silly. Why would I? That doesn't make sense to do that, because it came with a feeling, the old feeling that I used to get with the, oh, we've got to cut back. It came with a shrinking feeling, like a pulling in, like a coming in. And I was like, no, that's not what we're doing here. Yeah, I think I am more me than I've ever been. Like, there's no mask. I don't feel any need to hide. Like, even just, I'm just reflecting on sharing that story publicly about money. Let's make more money. I never would have done that before. I'd be, oh, I can't say that. But there's just this natural expression. I don't need to hide anything. Like, I've even committed to doing daily or lives in my Facebook group 5 days a week now. And I know that I'm not always going to be super energetic and happy and on.
no,
but that's actually
absolutely not. That's
part of the point of sharing every day, is there will be days where I can show up as myself and go, hey, I'm just not feeling it today. So that people can see that we're allowed to be all of it.
Yes.
We don't need to filter out the parts that we think others might not like or whatever. We're allowed to be, and I would like to say that there's no prizes for having the most painful healing journey. And I think it can be a temptation for some, because it's normal for their nervous system to stay in their pain, right? So it can be really difficult for people to imagine that healing doesn't have to be filled with suffering and pain and revisiting of the past. It doesn't have to be that way. And there's no prizes for dragging yourself through that. You don't get a medal at the end for going through the most traumatic healing journey, right?